You ever just get so fed up and annoyed at all of the crap that's going on that you start to get a little bit salty and you just need to unplug and get back to basics? Not watch the news, not do anything like that, not candy coat what you're telling people. Well, I'm kind of at that point. Welcome to the Opinionated Prepper. I'm Steve, and I'm frustrated as hell. I'm just frustrated in general over a bunch of stuff. I don't know if it's because of the weather and it's just kind of humid and gloomy, but it's still warm. If it was cold, I'd be in my heyday, but it's still warm and it's muggy and humid and gloomy outside and can't get any solar power or anything like that. So I'm just kind of fed up. But I look at articles, and the articles are talking about not being able to protect your own children from what they're taught in school, although we pay for the schools. Not being able to pass a law in my state of Arkansas saying that children need permission from their parents if they're under a certain age to be able to start certain social media accounts. You can't pass a law like in California where they passed the law saying that age restriction will be on certain things, and they ask the website owners to look at what their product is to see if it's age appropriate, and if it's not, put a restriction on it. Well, some happy-go-lucky leftist piece of crap judge did the same thing that a happy-go-lucky lefty piece of crap judge did in Arkansas, and they banned it and they overruled it. You see, in certain schools, they're saying that if a child, not you, but if a child doesn't have the money to pay for their school lunch, if their parents didn't send them with money, because it's the parents that are supposed to take care of that, the child has to pay the consequence, and they will rip that food tray out of the kid's hands and they'll dump perfectly good food in the trash. So they will waste something that's in short supply and make an innocent child go hungry instead of just saying, you know what, this one's on me. It's aggravating as hell. I don't care about taxpayers paying $1.7 trillion because a person can't stay in the cockpit of an F-35. I don't care whose fault it was about why it crashed. Good luck getting your 1.7 trillion because you've already taxed people to the point where you cannot take any more. Period. If you take any more tax money, there's going to be 350 million people, all with pillows and sleeping bags, heading straight for the White House saying, which room do I take? I've always liked Lincoln. I live here now. Because you've bled everybody dry and they've lost everything paying for your frivolous spending. It's annoying when you spend year after year after year telling people you need to get prepared, you need to get a supply, you need to get ready because bad things are coming. And it's coming quicker and coming quicker and coming quicker. And then you make a list, i.e. me, I made a list, and 2/3 of my supply list are out of stock because people are running, because prices are too high, because supplies are in short demand. And I have to go without because of panic buying, more or less. I'm not going without, it's a resupply. I'm not stupid. I don't let myself run out of anything. But if I have to keep breaking into my supply, sooner or later I'll run out of something. And I have to contend with all these idiots that can't buy any extra food and set it away for a rainy day. It's just frustrating. It's aggravating as hell. So I need to get back to basics. I need to unplug from it. I don't care much about the news anyway. When I see something, I read the news for your benefit, not for mine. I want to inform you guys, and it's always news you might have missed. I don't see anybody else talking about the thing. I don't see very much coverage. I think it's important, so I relay the information. And I do that once, maybe sometimes twice. If it's just one or two things, I'll spit it in one of these videos, kind of like I did with the kid stuff. You know, I like to talk more about what I do to prepare, things that I need to overcome, problems that I see, solutions that I have to fix the problems. I think they may be beneficial to you, and I ask you to leave me comments or drop me emails or something with problems that you might be having. And I can get it out into public, and I can give you a platform, and maybe I can get your problem solved for you. I like to solve problems. That's the platform that I like to have. And I need to get back to that. You know, because most of this news and most of this world is just annoying the hell out of me. You know, somebody posted something in a platform that I get on, you know, showing the contrast between a homesteader and a Wall Street big boy and where their priorities are, you know, and they were more or less relaying, how can we get together? Where do we know? How do we know where the world is heading and where it's going if we have such polar opposites telling us that this is the problem and this is what's going to happen? No, this is the problem and it's what's going to happen. And both have different ways to go at a situation. How can we know? How can we, you know, differentiate, you might say? Well, if you listen to what both of those people are talking about, it's more or less freedom. One person is talking about there's going to be a change in the economy that's going to affect your freedom. And another person is talking about basically there's going to be a change in the economy and it's going to affect your freedom. You know, it's food. If you look at a Wall Street big boy and you look at a farmer or a homesteader or a prepper, Wall Street big boys talking about commodities, talking about grain futures, talking about everything like that. Keeping an eye on that to see what's going up and what's going down. They're not worried so much about eating that stuff as they are making money from that stuff. The homesteaders and the farmers and the preppers, they're worried about eating the stuff. So they're watching the supply lines, trying to make sure that they have what they need. And the Wall Street guy is watching the crop yields to find out if they're going to go up or down so he can make extra money. He thinks money will save them. Homesteaders and everything know that it's the hard assets that you need that will save you, because money is nothing. Money is scrip. That's all it is. In the times of the Great Depression, if you don't know, money was so scarce that people, that states, that local governments came up with a promissory note that they labeled scrip, because you couldn't find any other money. There was so much food and so many assets out there, but nobody had the money, nobody could afford it. The people that did have money got it for pennies on the dollar, which is why I keep expressing to you to have real cash saved back so you can get the assets that are going to be on sale. But they came up with scrip, a promissory note. Ever since the credit-based system and the fiat-based system took the place of the gold-backed system, our entire currency became that promissory note. The Federal Reserve note, our currency, the bill that you have in your wallet, is a promissory note. But it doesn't ever give anything. It's just a promissory note of more promissory notes. You know, before it was a silver certificate, gold certificate. You could take that promissory note and you could go to any bank anywhere and change it for real money. There is no real money anymore. You know, it's all, we promise to give you more promises. You know, and I'm giving you an IOU, which is debt, and I will pay you back in more IOUs, which is debt. Homesteaders and all of the people that are like-minded and doing something about it, they know this. All of these other people, they know this too, and they know how to work the system, but they're not telling you about it. So what do you need? If you want to start preparing, look at the essentials in your life. Do you have an $80,000 car at 19% interest that's going to take you 20 years to pay off? And your insurance is going up because you have to have every type of insurance under the sun for you to get and maintain that loan? Do you have a 15-bedroom house and you're all by yourself? Are you paying $1 million for your house and it's not worth it? Well, I can't foreclose on it. I can't foreclose on it. It'll affect my credit. Man, screw your credit. Seriously, you need good credit, and you need to keep your credit balanced. But like I always told my daughter, if you go out and you get outrageous loans with outrageous interest, and you're going broke, and you're paying the loan and paying the loan and paying the loan, and you can't eat, it's more beneficial for you to buy a vehicle, let that car go back, and then rebuild your credit. You can always rebuild your credit. And if you're paying $1 million on a house, the banks are trying to get those houses anyway. Right now, they really don't want to because they can't get rid of them. They can't sell them because everything's too high. And they're not loaning people any money to sell the stuff they want to sell. But still, bankruptcies are through the roof. Repos are through the roof. So what's keeping you in that poverty? Why do you need that expensive car? Me, myself, I'm trying to find a vehicle, trying to find a truck or even an SUV from the 70s and from the 80s, because I can work on those. I can mess with carburetors. It does not take me $527 to change the spark plugs in a 1984 El Camino like it does my Expedition. And it's outrageous. And when you look at a shade tree backyard mechanic who used to do his own work, and he used to spend $15 to $20 for spark plug change and for oil change and get all the parts that he needed, and now $530 just for spark plugs. It just about makes him poop himself. It's crazy. But why are you leaving yourself in the spot that you're leaving yourself? Get a cheaper car. Why do you need a car that talks to you? Why do you need a car that drives itself? Why do you need to pay a monthly rental fee for seat warmers? Get a hot water bottle. Save yourself $5 a month. Why do you need the streaming channels? Why? If you're living in a city, if you're living in a town, in a community, anything where there's a population, you are required to have electricity, which is horse crap. Electricity wasn't even a big thing in the 20s and 30s. Most people were living without it. No running water, no anything like that. It's a brand new invention. We've lived for millennia without it. But now the government is saying we need it. So when you're born, you're already going to have a bill, and that's to big energy. It's nuts. Just because you have that on and you have that electricity and it needs to be kept on your house, that doesn't mean that you have to use it 24 hours a day. You can find other ways around it. Now, there's a lot of places like around me with the monopoly of the energy company that we have that says that you need to get their express permission to get solar panels on your house. And I sincerely and politely reply with, you can kiss my ass. I'll do what the hell I want to do with my house because I own it, you don't. I'll do what I want to do with my land because I own it, you don't. And I may lose, just like my father said. If I may not be able to beat you, but I'll break you of the habit. They're going to know who I am, even though I lose. You can find ways around that stuff. You use candles, use oil lamps, use something like that. Sit in the dark. Hell, I sit in the dark. Shut off all that stuff. You don't need it. Why are you chasing after that? If you live by yourself, try to find something that fulfills you. If you have a family, why do you have that junk? Because you're having to work so much. It's taking time away from your family. I lived through that hard lesson. I had to come to terms and realize I was missing so many once-in-a-lifetime moments with each of my children because I was chasing that almighty dollar. And I always thought, well, I want to give my kids the best, so I have to work real hard to provide for them. When they didn't want the best, they wanted dad. You know, it took me a minute to realize that. So if you have a family and you're paying an outrageous price for a house, your kids don't need that. They need a place to sleep, they need a place to be warm, but they don't need a mansion. They don't need a $150,000 SUV. They don't need to get kudos and admiration from the people that live next door saying, oh, look at them, they've got money. They've made it in life. You know, you don't. You don't need to send your kids to schools that push an agenda and that are taught by people that are most likely dumber than the children that you have. You can find ways. All that money that you're saving from vehicles and blah, 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 you can pull your kid out of school and you can hire a tutor. Homeschool those kids. That's the most important thing that you can do. If you have a wife, focus time with that wife. Make sure that wife, that family member, is going to have food to eat, is going to be warm, is going to be clothed, is going to have clean water, is going to be able to get from doctor's appointment to doctor's appointment. That's what you have to do. All the rest of it, you teach them, you raise them, you love them, you nurture them, and you make sure they're good people. Quit buying crap that you don't need to buy. Quit shoving video game upon tablet, upon TV in front of your kids to occupy their time so they don't bug you or so they don't realize that you're not around. It's just crap. If your wife won't live in a one-bedroom house or a camper so you can go and get some land so you can raise a family worth having, then that woman isn't worth having you. You need to kick her ass to the side. You need to go and get somebody that cares more about family and loves their family more than a materialistic wench that's with you because they want money and money, money and all the finer things in life. That's just my opinion. That's what I've done. That's what I'm going to continue to do. That's what I need to get back to doing. I did my chores, took care of my animals, did my odd jobs, didn't check the news, didn't check anything, homeschooled my grandson, did the topics and the subjects for that day, everything shut off, started doing watercolors with him, started talking to him and spending some extreme quality time while I was gathering myself and unplugging and getting back to basics and trying to get my level of annoyance back down to where it needs to be. And it's a good thing. I'm feeling better about it. And I think I need to bring my life back to basics, and I need to set my priorities right. I pray you do too. If you know what I'm talking about, do me a favor and leave me a comment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, man, I don't right now at this point in time, I don't give a shit. Just shut the damn video off. If you unsubscribe me, you unsubscribe me, I don't care. I'm not making any money about it anyway. I'm doing this for your benefit because I basically love you and I care about you. But I also want to make sure that you're prepared so you don't come acting a fool inside my house trying to take my stuff. Because I'd sure hate to show you the business end of my collection. And with that, God willing, we'll see you tomorrow.